Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn, you may call me Joy, and in this video I'm still going to talk a little bit about DEI, but mostly I'm going to talk about Mortal Kombat because that is a thing that I'm really into, and some stuff happened over the weekend, well, this past week really, that I felt was kind of interesting to talk about. So what's been happening? Well, I'll try and spell it out as quickly and as basically for people who don't follow the series as well as for people who do, because I think that this conversation is something that can appeal to both. What's happened is the Mortal Kombat creators have garnered some ire from the fandom, and I will get into the fandom, ever since their latest update announcement. The Mortal Kombat fandom is historically quite well known, as many fandoms are, for being incredibly toxic. In the latest update pack, returning characters confirmed are Noob, Cyrax, and Sector. Great. These are old school characters that have been in many iterations of Mortal Kombat. Again, you don't really need to know the series to know that, but two of these characters, Cyrax and Sector, are being reintroduced as women, where they previously were men. Don't get it twisted. This is not a trans thing. This is a Rule 63 thing. But it's still going to be interesting for me to analyse this through my transgender lens. So to quickly explain, the story that you can see playing behind me is the story for the latest Mortal Kombat game. Essentially, it focuses on a massive time reset where the characters are now living through a new era that has been created by Liu Kang. And as he shaped this new timeline in his own vision, some of the backstories to many of the characters has changed. Some of them more drastically changed than others. Another key point to take into consideration is that not only is there Liu Kang's timeline, but it's revealed close to the last act of the story that there are many concurrent different timelines, and all of these feature different iterations of characters that are well known, that are, again, different. They are from different timelines, they are from different universes. Think of a multiverse, it's basically that. For more details on what's been going on with these characters, I would recommend these two videos here, which go specifically into detail about this update and the changes to these characters. For a little bit more context, there have already been revealed female versions of previously male characters or existing male characters already, such as an alternate universe's Johnny Cage being Janet Cage. This is not the only detail that's been changed about these characters either. Yes, their gender is a pretty noticeable one, but Cyrax's country of origin has also been changed from Botswana to Niger. Don't know what that adds or makes particularly relevant about the story behind this new era Cyrax. But that's a thing that has canonically been shown that yes, this is different in this new timeline. Alright, that's enough lore, and let's get into the actual conversation of what's happening. So, the main criticism from the fan base that I have heard a lot is that NetherRealm Studios have gone woke. That this is DEI. And as someone who has not only studied DEI, but also has received a lot of comments about the fact that I did that and put it online, and I am not sorry for that. I would like to engage with this conversation just a little bit. First of all, no, this is not DEI. DEI does not affect fictional characters. As much as we love to invest time and effort into the stories of these characters, and I am just as much as guilty as this as any other fan, because let's face it, I am a big fan. I have almost every game and a few movies and a tattoo. We still have to accept the fact that these are not, in fact, real people. So DEI doesn't really come into the equation here. Is it woke? Well, I'm gonna say no. That is, unless you're using the bastardized form of the word, where it's just whatever right-wingers and bigots do not like and do not understand. Again, let's all remember that wokeness is about, or at least it was originally, about spotting the injustices that were enacted on to people from different backgrounds that were marginalized by systemic oppression. Has nothing to do with putting female characters into a video game. But we will come back to that point. Firstly, I want to pick up one of the comments that I made, and also a comment by somebody else as well, because I thought they said a lot of very good, insightful things. So I said, diversity is not the devil here. This commenter wrote, and I'm going to read this verbatim, "The big problem is that a lot of the complaint commentary are literally about shifting opinions to be more bigoted. As soon as a channel says woke agenda or DEI, it's literally a bigoted approach to building ire and cancelling any attempts to change things. I'm not saying all of it's great, but in comics they also needed to move on from the OG characters because they'd done all the stories. And if you need to move on, reflecting more diverse groups isn't bad. Is some of it based on tokenism? Absolutely. Again, I want to reiterate that in universe, this is a different timeline with many different changes. And yes, some people were unhappy about some of the other changes that had happened. The identity of who Scorpion was, for example. But generally speaking, these changes, they were introduced in order to try and tell a compelling storyline. Whether you think NRS has succeeded or failed in doing that is really a matter of opinion. But is it wokeness to make previously male characters female? Again, I don't think so. What I do think is kind of strange is that the original forms of Cyrex and Sector are playable in this game as cameos. This system is essentially a tag team kind of approach where instead of having two characters that you just tag in and out, you have one character who is the main and a secondary who just pops in every now and again. Those are the cameos, and those are the ones that feature Cyrex and Sector in their OG identities. So yes, it is a little strange having both male and female versions of Cyrex and Sector that will be playable in the same game, especially where Scorpion, Sub-Zero and Kung Lao are also both cameo and main roster. But I don't really have a problem with it. I don't see it as bad. I don't see it as pandering. I do think it's a little strange to have the only Rule 63 gender swaps be one-directional. That is to say, male characters that are now female characters. But the roster of Mortal Kombat characters has always had more men than women. So is this just an attempt to sort of redress that equal balance? And if so, again, don't really see the problem with it. But this is just the latest in a long line of fandom complaints that I personally am kind of sick of. This game has sexy covered women, and this game they covered up all the women. It's woke now! This game doesn't have sexuality, and this game has canonically gay characters and bisexual characters. It's woke now! Please, this game had sexuality in it. It was only invisible to straight people because it was heterosexuality. Where's Melina? We want Melina. We have to have Melina. She has to be in everything. We love her. We want to suck her toes. And then they put her in the game. And now this. I think this change makes perfect sense given the whole aspect of a new era, a new timeline. If it was trying to force wokeness or something into the plotline, they would have made the fucking cyborgs canonically transgender. And why not? Trans people exist. Trans people, like myself, do make up a portion of the demographic of people who are Mortal Kombat fans, enjoyers, and consumers. And whilst trying to balance a storytelling motif that whatever it is they want to tell with this new update that has yet to be fully released, fully realized, and you know the audience is reacting based on a trailer or two. Good God. I understand that there also is a need to appeal to about as wide an audience as possible because, let's face it, making video games is a business. Some of these storytelling decisions and in-universe decisions have been made on that basis, and some of those decisions, again, you might think that some of them worked out better than others. That is a matter of opinion. But I don't think that it excuses a furore every time there is some shred of, like, token diversity. We don't even know how this is going to play out in the, like, overall story arc, how this is going to end, because, again, this update has not been released yet. And that brings me to my main point that I want to bring this all around to, and that is the other thing that I mentioned in my comment. The grubby, greedy games industry has consistently repeated the pattern of producing an incomplete game, then selling all the rest of the content as extra add-ons. I refuse to buy Mortal Kombat 1 until a complete XL Ultimate Edition is released. As far as I'm concerned, it is still under construction, thus unreleased yet. They want my money, they can make a finished product. And with all of the fandom bitching and complaining about who is now a woman and who is now gay and who is not showing enough skin anymore, the real problem is the financial model of not just Mortal Kombat games, but all the games industry, pretty much. It's disgusting. Do I think that game devs should be adequately compensated for their work? Absolutely. But I also think that the consumers do not need to be ripped off. So anyway, that's all from me for this one. Yeah. Let me know what you think. Most of the time people do let me know what they think, and most of the time it's stupid because those people are assholes. But if you're not an asshole, let me know what you think. Whether you're a fan of Mortal Kombat or not. Non-binary is valid, goddammit. Until next time, bye. Wait for the siren.